This week's episode is brought to you by Heineken. With all the stresses of life, it can be easy to lose perspective on what really matters. But Heineken believes that life is about being with friends and opening yourself to new experiences. Because when you live spontaneously and embrace the unexpected, it's a chance to create new stories and connections. You just have to be open to it. I know Heineken was one of the first beers I ever started drinking when I started drinking and partying. It was an experience with friends. I have many, many, many stories, some leading to arrest, some not. Not encouraging you to do so, but I do encourage you to get a Heineken. So enjoy a refreshingly cold, full-bodied Heineken Lager today with its deep cold in color, light fruity aroma, mild bitter taste, and a crisp, clean finish. Cheers! Since you've been gone, I've been hanging around here lately with my mind messed up. Jumped in my car, tried to clear my mind, didn't help me. I guess I'm all messed up now, baby. Soon as I jumped into my ride, those memories start to play. The song comes on the radio, and there you are, baby, once again. It's just another sad love song wrecking my brain like crazy.
Oh my God.
Guess I'm all torn up, be it fast or slow.
Well, you was just going to sing the whole song.
I mean, I was just in the groove.
Speaking of sad love songs, my DVR is set for Iyanla versus the Braxtons.
Oh my God, when is that coming on?
September the 27th. That's when the first part airs. I believe the second part airs the following week, which is October 4th. So everyone be in formation, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to need a reminder on that, but I definitely would love to be present and accounted for.
I have set it a timer. I will be notified, via my iCalendar. But praise the Lord, niggas.
Praise the Lord, niggas. How are you, sis?
I'm doing okay. No complaints at all. How are you?
I am also well, just out here breathing. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're grateful for that. We are
Aren't
really
we?
grateful for that. Yeah. So let's do it.
I'm just so grateful to not be coughing my face off. Hope I didn't jinx myself.
I too am grateful that you are not coughing. I'm grateful that I'm not coughing either. Also too.
Oh, I saw you this weekend.
Did.
Came to DC for Auntie Denise's 60th birthday.
Indeed. We had a high time. It was great. Excellent food, excellent company, excellent fellowship. Shout out to the O'Connors as a collective, and most specifically to the matriarch, Denise O'Connor. Happy birthday.
That's right.
To just an awesome person. And we got to spend some time with a beautiful family. So all good, right?
It was great. The food was amazing per usual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be completely transparent. Anytime they're like, yo, you going to come too? I'm like, psh, is food going to be in the building? Then I will be in the building, because the O'Connors cooked their faces off. And, your girl came through with the libations.
Mm-hmm. Did.
So, I added a little bouge to the party with a time situation and some other things. You know what I'm saying? Got Denise drunk in about 2 sips of a sorrel sangria. She generally doesn't drink. She's not allowed to. And she can't. Come here. I said, yes. What's in this sorrel? It's like rum, Hennessy, a few other things. And she was laid out, honey, right after that, immediately laid out. It was like NyQuil.
Look what you did.
I know. Hit that blood. Something she needed. Just throw it back a little bit.
No.
It's your birthday.
No. I do not support. But yeah, it was a good time.
It was a grand time. Oh, we have an announcement for you guys. So, because of a few, complications and whatnot, Gettin Grown New York City has had to move to Thursday, October 4th, as opposed to Friday, October 5th. I know a Thursday show is not always ideal, but Keia and I promise not to keep you all night, and you'll still be able to get up, go to work in the morning. I have been known for a Thursday night turn up from time to time, so we'd still love for you guys to come and support and be in the building, because it's going to be a really, 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 really awesome time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll find, as usual, you'll find the information to get your tickets in the description box for the podcast, wherever you listen, whether that be SoundCloud, Apple, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places, that you guys listen to us. You'll be able to get that information. I'll also go ahead and announce, for the good of the order, that we have been able to secure some pretty awesome guest speakers for the Gettin Grown New York City show, and one for the Philly show too. So hopefully hopefully I'll have clearance via text message by the end of our show today. So make sure you listen to the end to find out who's coming to Philly in a couple of weeks. But I can say right now that we will be joined around the kitchen table by the Budgetnista. And I know that many of us, all of us rather, have expressed our great anxiety and trepidation about the finances and management of finances that come with, all things adulting. And Tiffany's going to spend some time with us. The Budgetnista is going to spend some time with us to help us get ourselves in order. She's going to be there. She's going to chat with us around the kitchen table about everything from managing debt, whether that be credit card, student loan, all that jazz, to getting ready to buy a house, to, saving, investing, entrepreneurship, those all manner of things. Tiffany has built an empire around personal finance and personal finance education for Black women. We are her demographic. We are her market, and she's coming to kick it with us in New York City. So please, 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 please do us a solid and come sit with us at the kitchen table. If you don't have your tickets, it would be in your best interest to get them, because I promise you they're going to fly and fly fast. We're coming to New York, like Jay said, on Thursday, October 4th. We'll be there at 8 p.m.
Yes.
So get your tickets, secure the bag, so that you can hang out with us in New York City. And Philly. We're coming to hang out with y'all on September 22nd, Saturday, September 22nd.
Next week.
Absolutely. No, well, yeah, next week. Not this Saturday coming, but the Saturday after
Next
that.
Saturday, yep.
We will have a great time. And like I said, stay tuned. Listen to the end of the episode, and I'll be able to announce who's going to join us at the kitchen table for that show. But, before I forget, we also have another guest that's going to help us take out the trash. And for our New York City show, we will be joined by Joy Marie McKenzie, who is the senior entertainment editor at Essence. She will join us to take out the trash. We're going to get all into the messy pop culture, celebrity news, and gossip. We'll be learning at who is the latest victim of one of Cardi B's shoes. And we will
get to that.
We will definitely get to that. But yes, guys, just in the way of announcements, Getting Grown is up to things, man. And we want y'all to come and kick it with us. Be down. Don't miss the bus kids.
Don't do it. So make sure you guys come through. Like Keia said, all of the links will be in the description box. So you will be able to just click it and tick it.
Oh my
gosh. Anyway.
Yes, indeed. So let's move on into the trash so that we can keep it pushing. We got a long good show for you today.
Limpiando, a clean up woman time.
Oh my gosh.
Limpiar.
Oh my gosh.
La Casa. Pull out your brooms. Let's sweep it on up. Okay. We're going to start off with something positive.
Well, what a refreshing change of pace.
I know. I just figured that'd be nice today. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
For the first time in ever, Black actors and actresses received all 4 Guest Actor Emmys at the Emmys. So we have Tiffany Haddish.
Come on here.
For SNL. Cat Williams for his appearance on Atlanta. Did you watch Atlanta?
I didn't, but Cat Williams.
Oh, so you missed him as the alligator man.
Oh my gosh, get your coin.
It was so good.
Well, I'm so glad because, Cat Williams has been in the news recently.
It was touch and go.
For all manner of tragic things. But
it was touch and go for a long time.
We are glad that he is on his way back. At least I hope so.
Me too. He did play himself.
Well, I mean,
he had a pet alligator.
We got to start somewhere.
Was it Florida Man or Alligator? It was one of those. But anyway, he got it for Atlanta. And then Samira Wiley for her role as Moira in The Handmaid's Tale.
Get it?
Which you all know I watch. Whew, Lord, that's a heavy show. And then Ron Cephas Jones for This Is Us. He played the grandpa.
Well, this is exciting. And I am excited.
Yes. So congratulations to all of them. We're super hype. And I just love that we're seeing all of this history being made. We're going to keep it on positive. Mm-hmm. Michelle Obama,
my auntie.
Queen Tings, has a new campaign called #WhenWeAllVote, where she encourages all women of color to vote in the midterm elections.
Well, glory to God. I just love her.
And she speaks nothing but truths because she encourages women of color because she says, we know how to get things done.
And she ain't lied yet. She ain't lied yet.
Not yet. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Indeed.
But we are going to move on to some actual trash now.
Well, we knew it was coming.
Yeah, it started off as taking out the trash for a reason. A Dallas cop shot a black man by the name of Botham Jean. I think it's Jean. And was arrested on charges of manslaughter. Now, let me just hit you all with the quick 140 with the story. So this bitch pulled up to her apartment complex, walked into the wrong apartment on the wrong floor, allegedly walked into the wrong apartment on the wrong floor, claiming she thought it was her own apartment and that Botham Jean was an intruder, and she shot him and killed him. Now, why this is some bullshit? Because there's no way in hell that you are walking into the wrong apartment.
Because
let's be very clear
there are
here.
Things that exist like locks and keys and things of that nature.
Yeah. So you definitely did not. She claims the door was ajar. Anybody who knows him claimed that he was a very meticulous person and there's no way he would have left his door open.
I also heard a story today. I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're
but
fine.
I also saw a tweet. I don't know if I saw a tweet or I don't know how I got a link somehow where, neighbors or persons, witnesses, people who are in the area are alleging. And there was actually a photo that came forward that showed the woman and is it Botham?
Botham?
Botham. They photographed together. So they're claiming that there was a relationship and she was actually either seen or heard outside of his door yelling, "Open the door.
Let me in."
Right. And she was drunk.
Right. But she was coming off of a shift. So I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. All of these things, like you all can't look at all these giant red flags that are literally slapping you across your faces and see that this woman is lying through her teeth. I'm telling you, man. Ooh, I can't with them.
I'm tired.
Some of the most dangerous creatures in America. And then, so Nas, is speaking up about these recent interviews that Khalees has been doing.
Really?
Regarding their custody battles. He went into a 6-part Instagram public service announcement.
So are these videos or were they?
They're not. He did the black post, so the picture's just black and the caption was long as Jack's. And so
like, why not? I'm sorry.
No, please.
I'm sorry, but I just have I feel like we are all in, and this is not singling Nas out because I feel like this has become a very lazy, conventional practice amongst celebrities and persons with large followings, because the two are not always one and the same. But
no, they're not.
But I think that this is fascinating. It's a fascinating development because oftentimes people pay publicists thousands of dollars, but when they want to make a statement, they resort to Instagram captions and the iOS Notes app.
IPRs,
screenshots,
Instagram press releases.
I'm just like, well, what the, like, at what point, like, whatever happened to like formal press releases or like the release of formal statements? And I understand that we live in a digital age, and that has in some ways, called for like an evolution in the way that we communicate messages. But I think that there is just something very colloquial and conversational about people making statements and formal responses in such a haphazard way. It just seems so like
lazy.
Yeah, I'm just like, bruh.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Every time I see a celebrity's IPR, again, Instagram press release, posted, which is always in the Notes app, or they've written it in Instagram, like with those letters, and put it against a black background, and then they've posted that. It's one or the other. But I always imagine that they do this on the toilet. I'm like, oh, wow, you wrote this whole thing on the toilet, because that's literally the only time that you have to do this.
It just also makes me think like, I mean, many of you, all of you who follow me on social media know that, I suffer from, typos. Because I think like in the haste to get the message out, I don't always go back and reread, because this is just like almost like a human reflex to just press send before.
We all do.
Like, it's just, so I just feel like we leave ourselves open to just all kinds of necessary revision and proofreading and editing when we operate in these ways. And I know that it's all about who can break the story first and who can kind of lead the narrative in certain ways. But I just wish that, I mean, it is frustrating to me that we've gotten away from having, protocol in place to make sure that we're always making statements in appropriate ways, especially when we talking about things as serious as custody.
Yeah, and he was upset too. I mean, he was upset and like went into some really explicit detail in these posts, and I was just like, but it's on Instagram.
Yeah, man.
It just cheapens it.
And I don't know. I think we can also blame Agent Orange for this. Well, samesies. But the fact that tweets are now like official federal correspondence is
right. Like all a nigga got to do is make a video on his phone and send it to the Shade Room, and it's like, news.
Bruh, that's just so crazy. And I know that I sound really old. I feel like I sound old because I'm just like,
I don't care.
Like last week we were complaining about cursive being obsolete, and now we're talking about that damn Instagram.
It's a problem though. It just cheapens the message. Like, you know what I'm saying? I use my Instagram, but I also will direct niggas to a website. Like, there are just things that I like to just keep in a certain place.
Formalize and be professional about your messaging. Especially when you're talking about serious matters. That's all.
That's it.
But I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And now we get to the highlight of our trash, which we knew we would. Nicki versus Cardi.
Oh, where do we begin?
So let's just bust the story real quick at a quick 140, and then we'll move on to the commentary. So allegedly, Nicki Minaj says that, Cardi B said that Nicki Minaj was talking shit about her child, and that she was talking shit about her child, and that she's approached her at multiple functions, and they've, talked it out, and she's expressed her feelings, and there are other times when Nicki has been cowardly, so forth and so on, which we have seen. Because when you do clownery. Anyway, so I saw somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but I saw somewhere that Nicki provoked the entire situation by stepping on the train of Cardi's gown. Again, not sure how true that is. But Cardi was seen rushing Nicki, to fight. and she got elbowed in the face, I believe, by security, threw her shoe at Nicki, ended up fighting Ra Ali from Love and Hip Hop, or Ra Ali tried to fight her, should I say. Musa Ali. And tried to fight her, and then was escorted out by security with her head held high, a slight smirk on her face.
So how did she get the knot?
I think it was secure. I think in the scuffle, security elbowed her at some point in the face, is what I read.
So there was never any actual
contact.
Okay.
No. So I don't think there was any actual contact outside of maybe Nicki stepping on Cardi's dress. Nicki is, all over Queen Radio, trying to blast Cardi of all manners of things.
So yeah, I was in meetings this afternoon. So I didn't listen. I don't know that I would have listened if I wasn't in meetings, but I got a couple of texts from people who were like, yo, apparently Nicki's going in on Queen Radio. And my only response is, why has she waited 3 days?
She always waits wild long.
And then it's like I just imagine her, calling in all her little reinforcements and trying to get her,
yes men together.
Yeah, to get her reads together.
That's exactly what she was doing. She was gathering all of her documentation and receipts, and she was just gathering all of her intel and all of her niggas together so that she could have this, something informed show. And she got on there sounding crazy as cat shit as ever. I only heard clips from the internet because I refused to actively go and press play and give her downloads for her show. But I mean, we've seen how Nicki's behaved through this entire situation. And, Amanda Seales made a really great point. People are saying it was the wrong time for Cardi to fight. You don't fight in these type of settings, so forth and so on. It is never the wrong time to fight. Amanda Seales said. And that spoke to my soul.
Oh, God.
It is never a wrong time to fight. You see a bitch, it's time to get busy. So
shout out to the Just Do It memes. My favorite Just Do It meme.
My favorite.
It's my favorite Just Do It meme. It says, tomorrow is not promised. Run up on that bitch today.
That bitch today. Oh,
and I said, oh, what a word.
I was like, one time for the one time.
I mean, I just think it's just a modern day interpretation of the age-old adage, no time like the present. Seize the day, even. I mean,
carpe diem, niggas.
I mean, when the door is open in front of you, you are to walk through it. I mean, several people have asked via Twitter and just kind of even in day-to-day conversation since this blessed event, how my thoughts or feelings about whether or not it was appropriate or should or shouldn't. Should Cardi have done it? Shouldn't she have done it? XYZ. I just feel like we can all offer our own speculations and ideas about what should or should not have happened. But at the end of the day, Cardi is going to Cardi. And throwing shoes is a part of her practice. If we would just think back to that faithful Love and Hip Hop reunion.
Talk about
where
it.
that girl was going off at the mouth. I don't even remember who it was. Was it Mariah? One of them girls that are of no consequence. Were just going on and on. And, you know, Cardi didn't like what she said. What did she do? She took her shoe off and hit that girl upside her head. Like, this is what she throws shoes. This is what she does. And do I feel like
pumps in the club?
Exactly. Do I feel like this is going to tarnish, scar, hurt, impute any of Cardi's efforts or future success? No. I don't feel
Absolutely
like
not.
Cardi is going to lose $1 or one fan as a result of this.
It's funny you should say that, sis, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But Cardi had a shade of lipstick
sold out,
released through Tom Ford. Sold out.
I mean, in seconds.
Done.
Probably I can guarantee that probably half of the people who bought the lipstick will never wear it. Because it's a blue lipstick. Like what?
Right.
But,
I was gonna buy it until I realized that it was a thing.
Exactly. And I mean, like, Cardi going Cardi. And
Cardi's
people
gonna
love
Cardi.
Cardi. People love Cardi in all of her, you know, authentic ways. The ways
People love Cardi and people are sick of Nicki, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, the irony for me is that all of this was going on while Drake and Meek were playing nice.
Right. They made up, and the mayor said, "You are now welcome back into the city."
I just said, well, what in the world? I said, well,
what a time.
Look at how these tables have turned.
And Drake posted and said, he was like, I just feel such a sense of relief. I just feel so much lighter now that
I don't know who I was talking to. I was on the phone with somebody. I think I was on the phone with Leonard, and we were talking about like things that may or may not have contributed to Drake and Meek's reconciliation. And it was like, you know, what if in some grand master scheme or conspiracy theory, you know, this was like all a part of the plan? Because like if we think back, Nicki might have been at the heart of Drake and Meek's initial troubles. And it's just funny that, you know, now such as life would have it, you know, yeah, they're all good buddy. And secondly, I said, I think that, you know, Drake being eviscerated by Pusha made him empathetic to me. It really made him want to reach out and be like, you know, I know what it's like now. But either way, I think that, you know.
Infrared was it was a read. But Drake did hold himself down with, was Duppy? He did. I know you don't Drake, but that was the.
I mean, but it's fine.
He did hold it down in his response. You know, I thought it was hilarious. You know, the Pablo Escobar reference, I just thought was absolutely hilarious because as much as I do love the clips, they do speak as if they were like the grand coke lords of Colombia. So,
Lord.
Anyway, that's more nigga conversation that I can do elsewhere. But in the end, I guess the takeaway is that I'm Team Cardi, and I support Amanda Seale's message, and also whoever created that Nike meme. Again, tomorrow's not promised. Run up on that bitch today. The motto.
What a time.
The motto. I think we need to make a Drake remix to the motto and call it the motto 2.0. Run up on that bitch. Man. And stop saying that it's not, because white people are going to white wherever they're going to white. You know what I'm saying? Like if they feel like fighting at the U.S. Open, they're going to fight at the U.S. Open. If they feel like fighting, you know what I'm saying, at the Louvre, they're going to fight in the Louvre. Like white people are going to do whatever they're going to do wherever they want to. So why is it not appropriate that all of a sudden, because she's in a white space, that she can't, like handle up on, like you've been talking a whole lot of shit and now I see your face. So now is the time. The only time you don't need to be fighting is at people's weddings and baby showers. I don't endorse them two things. Outside of that, get busy.
See also like kids' birthday parties as well.
Oh, kids' birthday parties as well.
Yeah, I mean, phew.
But if it's an all adult space, you can get this work.
I mean, I'm kind of indifferent. I do still believe that Cardi is a people's champion. I always probably always will.
Yeah.
But, it's just like...
And I'm ready for somebody to shut Nikki up. Like, I'm just ready for somebody to just,
I can just
clap her shoulders.
I can. The fact that, Cardi addressing Nikki on some, when I see you, you never say anything. But when we're not in each other's company, you got the fastest thumbs in the tri-state area. And then it's always on some throw the rock and hide your hands. I gets busy with that because I feel like that kind of dissonance resonates with me personally. I have experienced the same.
It's very much when you come around, I'll be quiet.
You know
when
what
you
I'm
walk
saying?
away, I'll be talking again.
And I just feel like,
that.
You gotta, if you want to listen, that's all I'm gonna say.
Because y'all are going to call me all men as a hood rat and whatever else. But I'm just telling you that I fully endorse that message. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like 5 bitches right now. It don't matter where I see them. It's time. Okay? We can meet at the Met.
It's go time. It's go time.
It's go time anytime. But let's get into some positivity and shout out a sis.
Oh, let's turn a corner.
Let's do that.
My sis is popping right now. Like,
we have such a wonderful shout out to my sis today. So I'm going to go ahead and just read the email straight out because this is such an awesome thing that I don't want to fuck it up. Mm-hmm. So it says, "Hey, Jade and Keia. Hope all is well. I absolutely love listening to the show every week. I actually have 2 shout outs for myself. I had my first op-ed published in EdSurge in August.
Come on.
It was a major milestone in my career, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. The piece was originally supposed to be a blog post from my organization's website, but our communications person pitched it to news outlets, and it was actually picked up. If you're interested in reading the op-ed, here's the link, and we will be sure to post that in the description box.
Fantastic.
I am also one of 4 finalists for the Professional Women in Advocacy Coming Practitioner Award.
Show the heck out.
The award recognizes advocates for early achievements in their career and potential to be a successful contributor to the field over time. I'm so grateful to be nominated for this award, and I appreciate all of my mentors in Washington, D.C. for helping me come this far in my career. Thanks, ladies. Have an awesome and prosperous week. All the best. India."
Congratulations, India. I'm super proud of you.
Super proud.
You are definitely out here typing real fast. And I'm excited about not only your publication, but this award. And, well, hey, Noah girl.
No, I cannot read you a story right now. I am recording right now. Girl, it's late. Okay, go on about your business. Come on now. Oh my gosh, she's taking fake selfies. Go and close the door quickly. Noah, immediately. She's sashaying out the room. Very RuPaul. She just flipped her hair on me. Oh
my
God.
Gosh, that's your job.
It is. Absolutely. India, I am so sorry that your shout out was interrupted by my offspring. Oh, go and close the door. Go. Okay.
Get it, Noah. Get your life, girl.
Anyway, India, we're super proud
of
all of your accomplishments. And we will definitely be sure to post that link in the description box. So you guys make sure to check that out. And give India a big old congratulations.
You out here, sis. Keep doing it.
I love reading these type of shout outs. Make sure you guys keep sending them in. GettingGrownPodcast@gmail.com. Close the door. Let's go on and get into this kitchen table talk.
All right. Support for today's show also comes from Thrive Market, an online marketplace that's on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everyone. Just pay a $60 annual fee and you can get access to thousands of the best-selling organic foods and natural products at 25 to 50% below traditional retail prices. Whether you are vegan, gluten-free, or feeding a family, you can choose from 80 plus qualities to get everything you need, including non-GMO, fair trade certified, and BPA free. For every paid membership, a free membership is given to a low-income family, public school teacher, military veteran, or first responder. That's what's up. And if you don't make back the $60 in savings, Thrive Market will refund you the $60 thanks to their happiness guarantee. So Thrive sent us a bunch of really awesome goodies, everything from sea salt crackers and sea salt chips to essential oils and lavender dish soap. Their delivery time is extra speedy. Their prices are amazing. Their packaging is really streamlined and tidy. Like you don't have all these extra boxes and extra paper. And you get your favorite things ordered to you that you ordered. You get them in no time flat. So I absolutely endorse Thrive Market. I love their mission. And I love the fact that they are trying to help people save money and eat healthily. And
it's a mom's dream.
Absolutely. And now with our special link, Thrive Market is giving you an extra 25% off your first purchase plus a free 30-day trial. That's 25% off the already low prices that Thrive Market offers. Just go to thrivemarket.com/grown to access this discount and all the amazing healthy snacks.
Yes.
All right, burgers and fries, apples and oranges, coconuts and grass skirts. We are getting
earring backs and rubbing alcohol.
Oh my gosh. Clean your earring backs.
Please.
Why do earring backs stink?
I don't know, but clean them though. Why do belly buttons stink?
That is an excellent question. I just think it's like it's probably an area on the body that doesn't get a lot of air. Air circulation is important.
Mm-hmm. It's key.
Critical. But yes, ladies, gents, germs and all of that.
Airborne.
It is time to gather around the kitchen tables. We've got matters to discuss today. I'm sure that everyone, well, I don't want to say I'm sure that, but most of us probably have heard about the latest Serena Williams shaming. I just feel like Serena has been under attack here lately. And I have had enough. So Serena participated in the U.S. Open this past weekend and had a match on September 8th with Naomi Osaka of Japan. Naomi Osaka, who is Haitian and Japanese.
Yes.
So another woman of color.
I love that she corrected that.
Absolutely.
That journalist or whatever he was in that interview. She's like, well, my dad is Haitian, so big ups and shout outs.
Let's acknowledge my melanin. Can we do that, please? Thank you.
Let's be very clear here.
Because I think I don't know, I was rubbed the wrong way instantly when she's talking about you have American fans and Japanese fans, and I'm just like, oh, so we're going.
Did you completely forget it?
We're just gonna act like this brown person is not talking, but it's okay.
Right.
So Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams had a heated match, and Serena was let me see how I'm going to phrase this. Maybe I should just read it as written. But yeah, so Serena was penalized. She was 3 different penalties. The first, I don't know what order they were in, but a point was taken for coaching. The umpire saw Serena's coach gesture something and penalized her for that. There was a racket violation, and then Serena was penalized for calling the umpire a liar and a thief. The verbal abuse was definitely the last one. He added that on at the last minute. Right. And as such, Serena lost. She lost before the penalties, but either way, she advocated for herself to the umpire because her coach did admit that he did gesture. He had also, with his admission, he said that Serena did not see him, or it was quite possible that Serena did not see him. Mm-hmm. Serena responded to his admission saying that they do not have signals. So even if he did signal something to her, she was like, we don't have signals. So I wouldn't have known what he was talking about in the first place, and that was going to be something that they were going to address at a later time because, she didn't know what he was talking about.
She also said she doesn't cheat.
Absolutely. And she said that to the umpire. And I mean, the scandal, there's been lots of conversation in the news. A lot of it bashing Serena for her verbalizing her disagreement with the umpire's calls. She's been called all kinds of erratic and intimidating. People have accused her of bullying not only the umpire, but it was like bullying be a part of her practice, bullying her opponents.
That she had a meltdown.
Yeah. So there have been all kinds of, talk in the press and the media and on Twitter, social media, about, the way that Serena delivered or, way she said whatever she said. And the double standard that exists, because honestly, anybody who watches tennis with any kind of regularity knows that men tennis players are often way vocal, right?
Word.
And are often known for going off in very boisterous and flamboyant ways and expressing their disdain. And what's most interesting is that those men are often heralded by the media, for their strength and for advocating for themselves in ways. But it's just different. It's just very apparent that that's not been the response with Serena. So we wanted to have a conversation about that because, it was just really triggering for me because Keisha and I talked about it on Sunday about like how it really just made me think of all the different times that I was owed an apology and I didn't receive one, and how that made me feel. And it's happened in academic spaces, in professional spaces, and even in social environments as well. But how that made me feel, and what watching Serena have that experience kind of, surfaced for me. So, is there anything that, like, how did it make you feel? Did it trigger any, emotions or specific memories for you?
Yeah, I feel like Black women are were never given apologies when we're owed apologies or when we ask for them. And that's another thing with the whole situation is that she didn't ask for her points back. She didn't ask for any of that. She asked
there
for
was no restitution. It was just like, I want you. No restitution in that, she acknowledged that the umpire's call was going to rule the day. Like, it wasn't like, she just wanted him to acknowledge that you did not even give me the benefit of the doubt. Like, you saw something, like you did not confirm or anything. Acknowledge that you did me wrong. Like, this is not a fair scenario or situation. I just want you to acknowledge that. And oftentimes we don't even get that acknowledgement.
We don't get the acknowledgement. And I know that there's been times and I have a very colorful sense of humor. It doesn't take a lot to offend. But even in a situation where maybe somebody's joked about something that I've already been like, yo, that's not funny. Like, don't even joke about it. And they continue to do it. And I get upset. I'm like, that's not funny. I told you that's not funny. Like, why would you keep saying that? And I'm like, no, don't say that and apologize for that. And it's been like, it was just a joke. Like, it's brushed off. You know what I'm saying? And that is an example of how sometimes a lot of times our emotions are not acknowledged.
Absolutely.
And our respect is not acknowledged. We're not given that respect. And it's just a common narrative.
Right. I think about times when I have been like blindsided or I have been told or encouraged in professional spaces, you know, that I could be vulnerable or share things, you know, share things that I don't know, things that I hadn't quite learned yet, things that I was struggling with, my challenges, share my opinion, share my beliefs, share my perspectives. I was encouraged and affirmed, quote unquote, affirmed, you know, or reassured that I was in a safe space. But there were times where I felt like I was encouraged to share and be transparent about certain things, only to have those things kind of thrown in my face or like, you know, used against me. So I can think of one particular instance where I had a supervisor who, you know, we had weekly meetings. And in those weekly meetings, if something came up in the meeting, you know, an issue, whatever it would be, you know, we would talk about it in that meeting. We would resolve it in that meeting. And then, you know, we would, you know, go ahead and our rapport was good, or so I thought. Like we had a strong relationship. And I felt like, you know, I could trust him as my supervisor until I got to like my end of the year review. And he like pulled out this folder and he had been keeping record of all of these issues or infractions and things that I thought were resolved and taken care of. You know, he just listed them all in this end of the year review and did not list what the resolve was, like what the next steps were, how we worked toward that, and never discussed it again. And only to find that he'd been keeping this file on me. And he was kind of just like, if you know, gave me kind of an ultimatum, like these are the things that you're going to have to do going forward. These are the things, and just wanted me to sign off on it and have it sitting in my file. And I was like, nah, bro, like that's not how this works. And thought that I was just going to take it until I went to HR and explained what happened. And then went back. And they basically told him that was, you know, unethical and against policy. And he was like, he was like, okay, but he never came back to me and was just like, yo, my bad or nothing. Like he never said nothing. He just carried on. Thankfully I was offered another position because God just works that way. But anyway, I was offered another position around about the time that all of this was happening. And it just worked out that I was able to give my 2 weeks, like, you know, shortly thereafter all of this was taken care of through HR. And he had the nerve to like call me and was like, can we talk about this? I don't want you to make a rash decision. Are you sure you want to leave? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what? Like,
no, nigga, because you're trying to address this now that I'm going somewhere. Like what? Nah.
It was almost confirmed for me. It was like you was trying to manipulate me. Like you were threatening me. Like you really didn't. You were doing this stuff because you didn't think that I was going to leave and I was just going to take it. Now that I'm actually, you know, out, you want to come back and talk, and you still never apologize to me. And I actually saw him. I've since like graduated and got all my stuff. And I actually saw him at like a professional conference, and he pulled me to the side and apologized 4 years later and was like, you know, I want to apologize. I know we didn't end on the right foot. But either way, in that instance, what really triggered me when I was talking about with Keisha was like, I did not have the power or the position to advocate for myself the way that Serena did. Even if in that, you know, Serena couldn't get her own point back or whatever, but like I couldn't go off on that man like I really wanted to because they want this rent every month. Like they want it every month. And I had to stop and literally stifle, and I couldn't express it. I had to be real strategic about how I handled the situation. Thankfully, you know, the Lord provided a way out where I wouldn't have to contend with this man even more. But it made me think about all the times where women are in situations and circumstances where they are being abused and they are literally between a rock and a hard place, and they can't speak up for themselves the way that Serena did. So while I thought it was awesome, and I was encouraged, and I thought it was just, you know, completely amazing the way that Serena demanded an apology. I was like, it just made me think of all the ways that so many of us don't have the platform or the space to make any kind of demand. And yeah.
I remember, or the thing is too, like you said, we're not in the space where we can speak up for ourselves, or when we do speak up for ourselves, in the case of Serena, we're again labeled with all manners of meltdowns and, you know, the black angry woman trope. And I remember an episode of Girlfriends where Joan was frustrated with being talked over in the conference room,
right?
Like, and how they had no respect for her in the conference room, and they made jokes about her being on her period, and it's like it's minimized to things like that. And I used to work at Sony, and when I worked at Sony, it was one particular night where I had friends in town and I was going to stay at their hotel, and we had this whole plan. So I packed clothes because I wasn't going to go all the way uptown where I was living. So I packed clothes and like had a suitcase, and I brought the suitcase to work and left it at work while we went drinking in the area. So I came back, you know, went to security, showed my badge to go upstairs to go get my bag. And this particular dude just had an issue. He just had a problem. And he was like, no, you're not admitted to go back upstairs. And I was like, I'm showing you my badge. Like, what's good? Like, I was like, I'll tell you who my boss is, my direct supervisor. You can give him a call.
Like a security guard or something?
A security guard. And so it ends up becoming this whole thing. So he's calling upstairs to security. I was like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, I don't even need to get inside. Send security to go to my desk then and go get my bag and bring me my bag. Like, I just need to get my bag tonight. Like, that just needs to happen tonight, right now. And he was giving me so many problems. I'm like, why are you trying to hold my shit hostage? Like, let me get my fucking bag. I was like, what is your problem? So we end up getting into it verbally. My afro shaking. I'll tell you how I knew that later. And he ends up calling the police on me. So I'm like, you know what? This is some bullshit, whatever. All right, bet. I leave before the cops get there. And the next day, I snuck into work really early. And I took a shower at my friend's hotel, put my clothes back on. So I did the host stroll, even though it wasn't a host stroll because it was friends. Went to work, changed clothes in the bathroom because my bag had all my shit in it there, and got myself together. And I was there super early. But security caught me later on, like all the security who knew me by day, cracking wild jokes about, you know, me getting into it with security, and we could see your afro shaking on the camera, and everybody was sitting in the room watching the camera, watching you go off on the security guard, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I say all that to say, I found out that was not protocol. Like, he should have let me up to get my bag, especially if I was showing him proper credentials. And nobody had the nerve to tell this man that he wasn't penalized. Right. There was no apology. There was no nothing. And all it looked like was I was some wild animal of a black bitch who decided to go off on this man to the point where they had to call the cops on me.
It's just like all the ways that, I don't know, for me, it made real how, like how systems and structures are inherently marginalizing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how they can be used, and how these kinds of tools of marginalization, like these tropes, whether it be angry black women tropes, these generalizations and stereotypes about how we are or why we are the way that we are, attributing our emotion to, you know, hormones, or our emotion being considered weakness or irrationality or some sort of loss of control. How those are bigger than like individual behaviors, because a lot of times it's not like just men or just women that feel this way, but they're kind of like larger societal they're like norms, they're rules and structures, and it's like they're enforced, you know, in such problematic ways, right? Because like we can think about like, you know, this conversation of like white women and white women's tears, and how, you know, how a lot of that is really steeped in patriarchy and whiteness, but how those things have no respect of like who the antagonist is, right? It's just like, but they're just like larger. They're just larger issues, and you know how all of those things contribute to the erasure of our experience as Black women, and the shaming and the blaming, you know, that comes as a result of these double standards. So Serena is pushing back. Really, her argument and pushback is like she really believes, and I agree with her, but she believes that this umpire, you know, took those points away from her because she is a woman, and how we've seen men express themselves, and they're viewed as passionate and strong, and this is all about self-advocacy. But she was deemed a threat, a bully,
right?
And you know, all kinds of things. And thinking, we were talking before we started recording about the biased headlines that have been in the media, and
the Post specifically,
and you know those cartoons and all these kinds of things. So it's really, really like, it's been hard. I've been talking again. I was talking to Leonard about this before we started recording, and it's just like, yo, it's exhausting, because
it is.
It's not even like it's like a refusal to acknowledge that these things even happen to us. Yeah. And because of these double standards, both of these women of color, Serena and Naomi, both, you know,
both suffered,
were wronged, and as a result, consequently traumatized by what was happening. Poor
because
Naomi.
we saw. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, Naomi didn't get to celebrate her win properly. You know what I'm saying?
She even apologized for winning, which I think is heartbreaking, right? Like, this little girl was 5 years old and watching Serena win her first Grand Slam at the Arthur Ashe you know, park. And she talked about idolizing Serena and it really being like a dream and her lifelong aspiration to face Serena, and she won. And because of what happened, because of all that transpired, she was booed and was up, and literally during the award ceremony was weeping to the extent where she apologized for winning. She was like, you know, I don't know, you know, it was all really confusing, and I don't really, because, you know, she's just focused on playing her best game, and she did. But, you know, I don't really know. She was like, I don't really know what's going on. I have to go back and watch the tapes and figure it out for myself. But I'm just really sorry that it had to end this way. So now this poor girl's first Grand Slam title was tarnished by this, and all because, you know, of a double standard.
Yep.
And I just think that is some bull swanky. And I feel like these kinds of things have been happening to Black women down throughout the ages. I wanted to talk about it on the show because I thought it might resonate with a lot of our listeners. And I was hesitant to bring it up even because I'm just like, we don't have a fix, right? We don't have like there's
no takeaway.
I don't feel like Jade and I can now give you you know, the top 5 ways to deal with this, because it's like not going nowhere, right? And
it's not happening.
We are in the thick of it as well, right? Thinking about all the way, we can have a whole show about ways in which, you know, I've been run over and run through. And that's just me. And I know if we were to give you guys the floor, there would be loads and loads of you who can think about the times that these
episodes
things have
for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
So it's well, I do want to end on a positive note by shouting out Serena and her motherly skills taking over, because she was able to put her emotions to the side and realize that this win was something really great for this young lady, and she was able to embrace her and kind of like gave her like all right, let's get ourselves together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And celebrate you for a second. Like, forget this other mess for just a second, and let's go ahead and get ourselves together. And because you got this win and you deserve this win.
You deserve this win. And there will be many more to come. But I think that, I'm hoping, and maybe not saying that this needed to happen in order for this kind of relationship to develop between Naomi and Serena, but I'm hoping that they can continue to build a relationship, because I think this is a strong mentoring moment for
absolutely
for young Naomi, and I mean for me as well, right? Because Serena said that she's going to continue to fight for women, and it just made me think of like, what are the ways that we can use our platforms? What are the ways that we can build platforms, and what are the ways that we can use the platforms that we have? What are mechanisms that we can put in place to at least buffer against? If we can't do anything about it, what can we do to buffer and protect ourselves, give ourselves space to kind of unpack and process these things? Because holding on to this kind of trauma leads to all manner of wrong, right, and bad. And, this is why, we got heart disease and all kinds of autoimmune conditions and all kinds of stuff, right? Because we
internalize
we are
all
out
of these
here
things.
Dealing with this baloney on a day-to-day basis. Like, people feel like they have the right to say all manner of foolishness. Like literally. We just out here. They said they think they can just treat us any old kind of way. And
we supposed to just take it on the chin and keep it pushing.
And if we don't, we are all manner of bullies. Right? When I speak up for myself, I'm bullying you. When I speak up for myself, I'm intimidating. Like, that's
right.
What a girl, get out of here.
Like, all right now. So I think if I have any takeaway for this, it's important for us to continue having these conversations and calling these people out who participate in this patriarchal system, and just continue to make noise about it, continue to have the conversations, and also continue to create safe spaces for women of color and for ourselves, so that we have these outlets, so that we're not internalizing these things like many of our mothers and aunts and grandmothers had to do. And we have some sort of outlet to be able to express these, even if we can't ultimately change it right now. So, yeah,
I agree. And I think to add to that, I think it's important for us to acknowledge our own limitations as well. And I'm thinking specifically about our listeners who may be, white, or maybe men, or maybe, and I think this goes back to what I was saying before about it being larger than just our own identities and our own practice and what we do, our own individual behaviors, but just acknowledging the ways that these things exist as systems and structures. I think that's the very first step, because before we can change anything, we have to be conscious and critical of the things that are problematic, right? And a lot of times we have to be willing to go there. We have to be willing to call these things out, like you said, and just say, yeah, regardless of my identity, I'm a white man and I acknowledge that patriarchy is wrong. Like, that's all we want.
That's it.
We're not saying that you should say that I am, a misogynist. Nobody's saying that. We just want you to be like, I am male and I acknowledge that, women have to deal with some
bullshit.
Absolutely. I am white and I acknowledge that people of color have to deal with things that I'll never know about. And
I am a black man and I recognize that also has a privilege within its right.
Absolutely.
Like, and just say these things.
Yeah. And that goes for all of us, right? I'm able-bodied and I understand what it's like. I understand that affords me privileges that people who disabled persons don't have. All across the board, I think it just boils down to us being willing to acknowledge, be conscious and critical of things. That's literally the first step in change. Like, this is what I study at work, like institutional change, organizational change. The very first step in the processes of facilitating sustainable change. That means change that's not going to go nowhere. Change that lasts for more than, change that's more than just an adjustment, but change that's real change. The first step is being conscious and critical and acknowledging the fact that, okay, what we're doing is not working. The system is not set up in a way that makes all persons and perspectives, worthwhile or, worthy, or even, it acknowledges that there are more than one perspective and experience. Like, like we have to first acknowledge that. And once we do that, like I think that's really the first step. And I think if we can get to a place where we can have productive conversations across our lines of difference, even as men and women, even as black men and black women.
Yep.
I think if we can get to a place where we're not like all niggas are this and all women are that, like if we can get to a place where we're acknowledging that all of our experiences are not, you know, the same, or like stop making generalizations and assumptions and presuming things, but just being willing to come to the table and have productive conversations about the ways that things are, and not invalidating people's experiences because it's something that we don't have experience of.
Yep.
But I ain't mean to go off, but I just been thinking and ruminating about this stuff all the time, because I just feel like people just be out here saying anything, and I have to acknowledge the ways that I have done it as well. But I just know that we're not gonna get anywhere until we're able to at least talk about these things. So
no, and that's the first step in us trying to be able to fix it, is talking about it. We can't ignore it any longer, because that's clearly done nothing.
Clearly. So yeah, weigh in. Let us know what you're thinking.
Always.
We wanna continue this conversation. Because I'm sure, like Jay said, these instances and occurrences are not going to stop happening. And how can we come together as a community and start thinking about ways that we can protect ourselves and support one another as we deal with these things? But shout out to Serena, as always, for being, you know, a machine.
That's right.
And shout out to Naomi for being a machine in training.
Amen. And shout out to her for her win.
Absolutely. We are proud of you. Shout out to you, sis.
Let's go on and get into this truth box.
Honestly?
Truly. All right. Let's get on the truth truck. Let's get into it. Hi, Jade and Keia. I've been a listener since your first episode, and I often re-listen to emails when I need to find some comfort and when I need to feel understood. I'm listening with a pretty serious issue that I have no clue how to cope with. Okay. Here it goes. So my name is, we're going to call her Lynn.
Okay.
My name is Lynn, and I'm from Ferguson, Missouri, born and raised. I'm biracial. My mom is white and my dad is black. Unfortunately, I do not have a relationship with my father. From a young age, he exposed me to some pretty heinous things. I won't go too far into it, but the point is that I'm not very close to him or that many people on his side of the family. Okay. The white side of my family, for lack of a better word, are mostly poor and uneducated. My mom and my godmom are the exceptions. They're very liberal and they are far from racist. The rest of my family on my white side, however, as I get older, I notice more and more of their prejudice. This is true especially for my cousin, who I've always been pretty close to, as we are close in age, and sometimes more like brother and sister than anything. However, as I get older, I notice more and more of his racist and sexist comments, especially since Trump has been elected. He's a huge Trump supporter. Ooh, the ghetto. Not only does he make these horrible comments, but he looks at me to see my response right after saying some fucked up shit. It's like a malicious attempt to get a rise out of me. It's like a malicious game of let's piss off the liberal chick, but it's more than that for me. I'm a black woman and I take that shit personally. I simply can't stand it anymore. I feel like I'm drowning and grieving the family members I once knew and respected. I also don't know if you can relate to this, but when someone says something racist around me, even though I think I'll have this grand response every time, about half the time I clam up and I don't know what to say because I feel stunned or at a loss for words. I recently went on a trip with this cousin, and comment after comment was either extremely sexist or extremely racist, whether it be about Hispanics, Asians, Middle Easterners, Americans, immigrants, etc. I just graduated college as a first-generation college student, and I'm moving to Boulder, Colorado this Friday. I guess my question is, do I cut these relationships completely because I'm at the point of not wanting him to visit me, not wanting to visit him because I'm just disgusted with nearly everything that comes out of his mouth? Whatever advice you guys have, I would absolutely appreciate. I feel like I have no one to talk to about this. Best, Lynn.
Oh, Lynn, girl. I don't know. My heart goes out to you, sis. I just feel like it is definitely tough to be subjected to racism in such a blatant and apparent way, in such an intentional and specific way. And that's got to be especially hurtful coming from a family member, a member of your family. That being said, I want to affirm you in making whatever choice you deem most appropriate. That is your family, and I'm not going to tell you that you have to, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable telling you cut them off or don't cut them off. I think that's ultimately your choice, but I will say that you do not have to contend with mistreatment or abuse from anybody. I don't care if they're related to you or not. How you choose to advocate for yourself, whether that be you making a demand, whether that be you making a request, or serving an ultimatum, saying like, I know what you're doing, I don't appreciate it. If you don't stop, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. And you have the right to do that. You have, I don't know. I think that is well within your. It's more than reasonable for you to advocate for yourself in those ways, because anything less than that is literally abuse, and I don't think that, you know, it is appropriate for any of us to deal with abuse. I don't think that that's what. No matter what, no matter who the abuser is, you don't have to take it. And I don't think you should.
I mean, you brought out how your father wasn't in your life because he's exposed you to some heinous things.
These are heinous things.
These are also heinous things, just a different form, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But if your family was able to separate you from your father for those reasons, then you are very well within your right to separate yourself from those within your family who are exposing you to things of the same nature. Or of a heinous nature, should I say. Blood don't mean nothing when you like go out of your way to disrespect me. Because at that point, we ain't nothing but related. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have any words for you. And I think that you're well within your right to not want to communicate with people who are exposing you to things like that. But it's also your family. I know how that can be a weird area. I had a cousin. We were out to dinner one night, and he told me he might vote for Trump. And I was stunned. I was like, what? What are you even talking about right now? Like, how could you even, why? And, you know, he went into the whole Hillary thing and, you know, so forth and so on. And I had to end the conversation. Now, I would have loved to get up and just leave. And he hasn't even said anything else crazy. And he ended up not doing it. So he says, allegedly. But I say all that to say, you know, in that particular situation, it was like, we're out to dinner right now and I'm not getting ready to ruin this whole vibe, but you just pissed me off. So we're going to cut this conversation off. And I very much was very vocal and let him know, like, you know what? We're not even going to talk about this anymore. We're not going to talk about this ever again, actually. And sometimes you got to either cut the conversation or cut that nigga off. You got to do one or the other.
Yeah, and I honestly think that your move to Colorado is just affording you a clean break.
Girl, that's the universe or whatever telling you, hey, we got you. We got y'all.
Exactly.
So
and you don't have to feel bad about anything that you make. And whatever choice that you make is not a final choice. It just may be like, you know, I don't want you to feel like you cutting your family off forever. Doesn't mean that you have to love him any, whatever. You can love people from a distance. You have to love people in specific ways. You have to love people in ways that are not harmful and endangering to you. So, like I said, it may just be a temporary thing. Perhaps this is just not the time that you can have a conversation. It's okay for you to make that choice. I'm choosing not to engage in this way with you right now. Maybe you need to mature. Maybe you know, he needs to mature. He clearly needs to mature. And maybe you need to grow and maybe at a different time and space in life, you guys can have a more productive conversation about it. But for right now, the best thing for you to do is to sever ties.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that you have to do so forever. I just think that I just want to be sure that we're affirming you, that you can make the choice that's best for you right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we're definitely here to support you. We appreciate you for supporting us. Please feel free to write in, keep us updated, let us know how things go. But like Keia said, it doesn't have to be a final decision. It could just be you setting the tone for what you will and will not tolerate. You know what I'm saying? And that's just fine. So our love, our prayers, and our positive energy all go out to you, Lynn.
Absolutely.
Let's move along to the petty peeves and we'll wrap it on up.
And I want to be very responsible of the things I say to my sister. Because everybody know I can be real petty. P-E to the T-T-Y, honey.
All right, y'all, let's be petty. I'm going to just say this. I'm going to try to say it as quick as possible and then just get out the way. I have, as a PK, I'm no stranger to the fishbowl. I know what it's like for people to observe your circumstance and feel like they know things about you. Mm-hmm. I will say that I'm tired of that. I'm very tired. I've grown very weary of assumptions. And I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how much more I can take of it. My petty peeve is for people who make assumptions about me specifically. People who have made claims and reached conclusions about me without any kind of conversation with me. I'm sick of that. And y'all got to let that go. Because I just feel like I don't know how much more time will pass before I lash out. And I really feel like that's all I'm gonna say. This is a thing that has kind of become commonplace, and I will behoove all of you to take it easy, because the kid that you think you know so well, you don't really know as well as you think you might.
I be telling niggas like Keia fights.
I mean, not even on some just that, but I just feel like I don't like it when people make decisions for me. When I am able and willing to have a conversations, and we can always talk about it. That's why I feel like what Cardi is experiencing with Nicki resonates with me so seriously, because let's talk. I'm here. If I've come to you on more than one occasion and asked you if there's some sort of beef, if you got something on your heart, if there's something that's not rubbing you the right way or sitting well with you, let's talk about it. You got to talk to me about that before you talk about anybody else. Because if you talk to other people before you talk to me about it, I'm going to assume mess, because that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And if we're friends and if we have a relationship and you can't talk to me about one thing or another, that's the problem. But it's when you get to jump into those conclusions on your own.
Don't assume nothing about me.
Don't assume, man. Ask. Don't assume. And don't feel like because you know, and this happens even in dating situations too, and this is really just, we can just go there as well. I think that people feel like they build a conception of who you are based on your photos, based on, your comments or captions or whatever. And then they treat you like, I know this is how you going XYZ. You don't know anything, stranger.
No.
You don't know anything. Or I bet you the type of girl, or because I have a certain number of followers or this or that is the third. Sir, you are still a stranger.
Thank you.
And you cannot come up and approach me like we have a relationship. We don't. The only thing you have access to is my page. You don't have access to me in those ways. So I don't know, man. That thing, I just have had a week. I've had a week. And this is just a theme that has just been reoccurring. So this is not a test, kids. I'm telling you.
Y'all better pay attention.
Please.
Take heed.
I just don't, because I mean, I'm a go along to get along kind of girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here. I'm not here to rock the boat, and I don't like mess, so I don't look for it. I don't create it. I don't like mess, so I don't tolerate it either. So if you're gonna be messy, you're gonna have to go over there with that.
Cause I ain't got the time. Who has the time for that? Nobody.
Not me. But that's it. I'm gonna let you go ahead and continue.
My petty peeve is for a particular type of plate maker at a function. I cannot stand people who make plates at functions before everybody at the function has eaten.
Oh, Lord.
Don't ask for the foil. Don't come with 3 and 2 plates in hand because you decide that you're going to bring food home for, Bubba back at the crib, or because you feel like having lunch tomorrow. Everybody hasn't eaten. Furthermore, I feel like there are appropriate times for people to make plates. When the host tells you, I have excess food that I do not want to keep in my home, please take food home. It is appropriate to make a plate. I think that's just fine. When we went to the party this weekend, if people want to take food, they had no problem because there was oodles of food left. I also recently went to a repast, and there were old women on the line making multiple plates when it was already at capacity, a long line of people, and everybody had not eaten. And when I tell you, I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. I was like, this is not only tacky, it's disrespectful. So it's not about making the plate. If the host says it's okay to make a plate, then it's cool to make a plate. If the host tells you to take food with you, then take food with you. If they're trying to get stuff out of their house, by all means, it's fair game. But don't take food at the repast. Don't take food before everybody on the line has eaten. Don't do that. Not only does it hold the line up, it also minimizes what people in the back are getting ready to have access to. It's just selfish, and it's tacky, and I hate it. Agreed. And that's it. You're not supposed to be singing.
You're right. So sorry. Listen, ladies, gents, germs, and genomes, we have wrapped up another episode of Getting Grown. We thank you so much for your time and patience.
So much.
And we are thrilled and elated that you join us week after week. Please continue to do that. As far as announcements and things of that order, keep on keeping on in terms of sending in your shout out to My Sis submissions and your honesty box questions and your petty peeves and your suggestions for kitchen table topics. We need all of that. Go ahead and make sure that you buy tickets because our shows are coming up, man. Philly's in 2 weeks.
Quick fast.
Yeah, man. Philly's in 2 weeks. New York is in 4 weeks. Whoa. We out here. Please don't have us out here by ourselves. Seriously.
And Atlanta's wasting no time.
Oh,
They're
man.
even though this is in November, we're going to go ahead and get this in.
And we love y'all so much.
So continue to do so.
Indeed. Yeah, man. We're excited. Philadelphia. I haven't gotten the clearance, but hopefully this won't be the end of the world. We will be joined in Philadelphia by none other than Brittany Packnett.
Hey.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Brittany Packnett, man, she is just masterful. Masterful educator, currently a fellow at Harvard. Harvard. Brittany Packnett, man, advocate, influencer, vice president of National Community Alliance for Teach for America, co-founder of Campaign Zero, and a member of President Barack Obama's 21st Century Policing Task Force. She hails from St. Louis. And she's just out here, man. And she's going to come and kick it with us in Philly. We're going to have loads of awesome chat and chit at the kitchen table. So please come and sit with us. Philadelphia, get your tickets. I'm probably going to be, harassing you all via social media with that link until all the tickets are sold. We need y'all to come and hang out with us.
Do it as a birthday gift to me.
Yes, because it's Jade's birthday and I'm not supposed to be singing, but I'm going to sing anyway. Happy birthday, sis.
Thank you, sis.
Love you so much. Couldn't do any of this crap without you. So yes, everybody wish Jade a happy birthday. Come to the Philly show. We're going to have a happy birthday turn up for Jade. And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a blast. And in the meantime, make sure you don't come to the show ashy.
Don't do that, please.
Moisturize.
You will get talked about. Moisturize, drink your water, and as always, continue to mind your business.
Because your black is going to crack.
If it's dry, man.
Bye.
Bye, guys.